Hey ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here for Digital Dojos. Today we're going to be going in length and unpacking what I'm sure is to be a long one on the idea and the battle around streaming platforms like Twitch and the legal battle and the implications around DMCA copyright strikes, bans, and things that we're seeing unfold and have been unfolding last couple weeks, months, even years at that. For those of you who are unaware of the situation, Twitch, a live streaming platform that's owned by Amazon, very, very popular in the gaming space and whatnot, has definitely gained traction year after year, even post Amazon purchase, and has recently come to light with the battle and the legal surroundings of things like DMCA or the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. This is a law that has been in place since 1998, so you need to understand it's nothing new. This was built in place at the cusp of the digital age to protect digital right owners, so the music labels, the movie studios and whatnot, and the artists whose content was going digital, whether it was music videos, movies, etc., like I said, and to protect them. And we've seen this time and time again play out. You can think about LimeWire and the RIAA and how they sued companies like that back then when people were pirating music, to the point where solutions like iTunes came out and then eventually streaming platforms. And then you can think about sites like Mega Upload and even YouTube, where they've seen instances of this in the past. So I want to reiterate, this is nothing new. And I guess I should have prefaced this earlier by no means a lawyer and on this topic and have that expertise on this topic. I'm simply speaking as somebody whose expertise draws from someone who was affected by these very laws as a content creator, somebody who was, creating content for a living here on a platform like YouTube for over a decade, and somebody who was affected by it on both sides, whether it was my channel being stricken or me striking other channels for using and infringing upon my own copyright and my own intellectual property. So with that said, with the ongoing battle around Twitch, it stems back to years where we've seen light notices and light takedowns of certain creators and certain creators' content in the past. In some warning signs. We saw a more drastic warning in the last couple of weeks to months, with Twitch issuing out a notice to a lot of creators saying, hey, there's a 3-strike, you're out policy. Like, if you're violating this DMCA terms, you will get banned. Like, we are notifying you. These are ways that you can work around it. These are the new audio system library thing that they put in place for you to use and avoid using copyrighted content. But the warning is out there, right? And you're being issued this because you may have a DMCA strike to that effect. There's a lot of controversy on that whole approach and how that was done from a legal perspective and the way they worded it. But the fact of the matter is they push out this massive warning to people saying that you are at risk for being banned if you violate this, either again or continue to do so. And the thing about DMCA strikes is they tend to come in waves. Now, that said, DMCA, again, nothing new. It's just something that on the live streaming end and the Twitch end has become more relevant due to its popularity. With Twitch becoming bigger and bigger, these companies are realizing the popularity of it. And at the end of the day, as it always does, unfortunately, in business, it comes down to this: the money that they're losing because of it and not pocketing because of it. Because the streamers are using their content, or the music labels, songs are being streamed and played in the background. Simply they're violating the terms, and now they're coming to collect, essentially. And when we saw this happen on YouTube, a lot of people forget this happened on the early days of YouTube, 2006 plus, after they got purchased by Google, the battle with Viacom. I was around when that was a huge scare and a huge concern for a lot of YouTubers in changing the landscape of how creators operated, because back then it was kind of the wild, wild west, and people were using music in the background of their vlogs all the time and whatnot. And the content ID system wasn't what it is today. And YouTube was at risk of being shut down as a website, as a platform in business, because of the legal proceedings with Viacom and the amount of money that was going to have to kind of come down and be spent as a result of it. Now, what YouTube did in order to appease the music labels and the movie studios, as well as appease and protect the creators, was develop a content ID system, of which the likes today is the best out there, I think, by far, and the engines they use and the algorithms they use to identify if you're using somebody else's song, music, movie, somebody else's video, to the point where I, as a creator, if somebody rips my videos, which they've definitely done in the past in a couple of years, I get notified about that and says, looks like somebody re-uploaded your video here, here, and here. Would you want us to remove it or issue a copyright strike? And I would say 90 to 95% of the time it's accurate. There is a margin of error sometimes there where it's a false positive. And I would hope the checks and balances, like if I say, no, this is not like infringing upon my copyright law, hopefully the algorithm improves upon there. But it's definitely not perfect. And there is an appeal process that can be better, but there is an appeal process. So YouTube went over the top and built out a really robust system ID to protect both sides. Because within that now, if you were to use copyrighted music on your vlog or movie or whatever you upload to YouTube, you have a couple options. YouTube will say you can mute the track, you can replace the track with our in-audio editor and use music that is copyright-free essentially. Or if you're monetizing the video in particular, because again, that's when it matters. If you're putting ads on a video and then you're putting somebody else's song that you don't own the rights to, you shouldn't be able to be profiting off of that piece of content. Even if you made the entire vlog yourself, use all your own footage, if you're layering it with somebody else's music, that's unmonetizable. It's going to get demonetized in a sense. And when I say demonetized, it essentially means you don't pocket the ad revenue. The music label pockets the ad revenue. And that's how they appease the music label. But that's also how they appease the creator, because you as a creator then do not have to remove the content. The video can stay up. It can even have that Drake song or that Ariana song that you used on it. It's just you're not pocketing the money off of it. So it tries to appease both sides there. It's not perfect, but it works. You can get a copyright strike, but you're not outright going to get banned. And that system has improved time and time again over the years. Whereas a platform like Twitch, going back to live streaming platforms, they've heavily underestimated and underplayed the seriousness of it. They've not enforced it as much as they should have over the last couple of years. And now we're just seeing them, because they're under the scope of these major music labels and the RIAA and whatnot, and they're in these major lawsuits for, I'm sure, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's now, a very serious thing. So Twitch is essentially trying to cover their ass, and you need to understand that Twitch is owned by Amazon, who, at the end of the day, Twitch is a line item in Amazon's books. Twitch, if anything, loses Amazon money versus making them money. And here's the thing, when they bought Twitch for like $1 billion plus, it probably was never a purchase that they expected to make money off of. You need to understand the sheer size of the company that is Amazon and the amount of money they have. It was never about making money off of Twitch. It was about getting the biggest live streaming platform there was. It was about them staying relative and staying competitive in that field. It was about them owning that. And it's about them packaging it in their Amazon ecosystem. It's the reason why you see it being a part of like the Twitch Prime subs and the Amazon videos that you can use on your Twitch stream. It's an ecosystem that you get as being a part of Amazon. That's why they bought it, not necessarily to make money off of it. But the position we're in now with all these lawsuits going on, you have to understand it is a very real possibility if there's hundreds of millions to billions of dollars of lawsuits going on, where Amazon simply just drops it and not necessarily cans the platform, but either passes it on or potentially could just shut it down because of these legal implications. Like, Twitch is huge in its space. Twitch is a leader in its space by all means. It's the biggest platform out there in terms of live streaming and whatnot and social relevance. But in Amazon's bigger book of business, it is a fraction. It's not even like 0.1% of what Amazon does in relative to everything else that they offer. I don't think we're at that point where we'll see Amazon entirely shut down Twitch. I think Twitch in itself would, really bring down the ban hammer heavy and hard across its creators before they would outright destroy the platform and scrap it. You could argue that banning the creators and whatnot destroys the platform in itself, but like, it's a business. They're always going to look after their own needs first and foremost. And yes, the creators are a part of that business and they work hand in hand to do so. But it is a business at the end of the day. Now, this is where we get into a lot of gray area, because people can argue, like, is it on the onus of Twitch? Is it on the onus of the creators to do something about it? Because we've seen some creators, some of the top creators, I know a lot of the people I watch on Twitch, a lot of them go and delete a lot of their old VODs, a lot of their old clips, to not even risk being DMCA'd. And now they're trying to adhere more to that thing. And here's the thing, I understand, like, the Twitch world, I understand these live streams, I understand the culture behind it. I know it's a big part of Twitch and live streaming. I know it's a thing to like play music in the background, to listen to songs, to share songs with your audience. I get that. I do. I understand like culturally why it's a part of live streaming. I just think unlike YouTubers who've been through this and understand the implications behind it at a business level, some of the Twitch streamers, even the big names out there, didn't really grasp it. And it's some degree on the fault of Twitch for not policing it as much as they should have early on and really hammering that policy and really bringing down the ban hammer across the board early on to really draw the line in the sand. So it's allowed some creators to be comfortable. If it's not happening to those guys, then it's not going to happen to me type thing. And at the end of the day, it's not Amazon Twitch who is like suing you for using the song. It's the music labels, right? The music labels and whatnot are coming to Amazon, trying to sue them, bringing the copyright and DMCA notices to them. And Twitch is simply passing it on and letting you know as a creator, you're in violation. Either do something about it or we're going to ban you to cover our asses. And again, it's a give and take. It is on the onus of the platform. What Twitch needs to do is build better systems in place to help the creators protect themselves like YouTube did. And then they have to find a way to appease the music industries, the movie industries, etc. as well. Because it's not the same, right? Like even though the correlations of what happened to YouTube and Twitch are in the same kind of boat, there are different arguments to be made. Where YouTube can give all of their revenue to the music label for you using their song, if you stream 5, 6, 7 hours on Twitch and use and play like 20, 30, 50 different songs, how do you determine who the ad revenue goes to, right? It's not as simple and clean cut and dry as that, right? It's not saying like the music label gets your donations. Like, do they get your donations? Do they get your sub money? Like, it's not as clean cut and as simple as passing on the ad revenue over to the owner, because it's a whole different model when it comes to live streaming. And that's wherein the problems lie. And that's why they can't make it a system like that. And they have to now come out and say, like, you just can't violate this at all. Otherwise, after a certain amount of times, you're going to be banned. On the creator side, speaking to the creators out there, and myself included, as somebody who's like live streamed in the past, you just need to be aware of these laws. Like you can't be ignorant to these laws, and you can't be ignorant in the sense that you think that if you're too small, it doesn't affect you because you don't have hundreds of thousands of viewers, or that you're too big so that it doesn't affect you. If anything, in that case, you can be made an example of. At the end of the day, these labels, they don't care. Like if you're violating the law, you're violating the law, and they're going to enforce it if there's money behind it, right? I know, and some people want to make the argument, whether it's creators or people who watch these people, that like they're doing a service to these things by advertising it and marketing it. And I understand what the argument is there. It's the reason why like games like Among Us in 2020 became a huge, if not the game of the year, even though it was made in 2018. It's been out for 2+ years. It's because platforms like Twitch and the social relevance they have, and streamers like Valkyrae and Disguised Toast and Ninja and so on who are playing it, or PewDiePie, when they play it boosts the popularity of it. You can see it in the sales charts, and it's direct money in that case with games correlated to sales. Like if I see people playing that, I go out there, I want to buy it, I want my friends to buy it so we can all play together. That's $5, $10, $15, $25 in the pocket of the developers. It's not the same correlation when it comes to things like music. If you listen to a streamer who has a music in the background and you figure out what song they're listening to, and sometimes it does happen and you want to hear that song, majority of the time you're probably going to go look it up on YouTube or look it up on your streaming service. You're not going to go out there and buy it. I'd argue the percentage of people who go out there and buy the song is probably very low. And even if you do, it's like 99 cents on the dollar. If you stream it, it's even like 0.1 cents on the dollar or whatever it is, right? That's not enough money that the label or the actual owners are getting out of it. Even if it's getting free advertising and it's just some money versus none, like you're still violating the terms. And then some artists will even argue that even if it's free marketing, like they don't want you using their content because they own it, and that's their prerogative because they own the content. And it's not always the artist, right? Like when we talk about like these copyright infringements happening, it's not Drake or who's another major artist right now. It's none of these like artists who are directly going out there and like issuing the strikes. It's their labels, and it's the corporations behind them, right? And that's something that you also need to like understand. It's tough. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a multifaceted solution. Twitch has to do a lot of things here to really approach this the right way, to preserve their community, to preserve their creators and protect their creators. But at the same time, they got to protect their bottom line, and they're going to do that. It's unfortunate, but we are seeing it take place. Today, Voyboy, a major professional, gamer from League of Legends back in the day and streamer, had his channel revoked. We've seen other channels revoked in the past for similar, manners. And I think we're only in the early wave, and we're still going to see it happen across the platform. And people are going to be made example of until people understand. And I think at the end of the day, who this mostly affects, right, are those who are streaming for a living, right? I watch a lot of creators who are content creators on Twitch for a living. And it's the reason why they're now like branching out into things like YouTube and whatnot, because they understand it's not business savvy to keep all your eggs in one basket. But furthermore, if you're doing this for a living and your Twitch channel gets banned, obviously it affects your day-to-day life, right? So it's something to consider. It's something to make sure that you're protected from and don't continue to do. And I would argue you should be extra cautious. Like, I don't understand when I see these major streamers with like 10s, 30,000, 40,000 viewers still violating these things and thinking that they're exempt from the rule, or they don't build practices in place to not do it. If you want to listen to music, you can play copyright-free music and royalty-free music. There's a lot of sources out there. You can listen to music on your own and not have it be broadcasted on the stream. Like, that's technically a thing you can do. Like, there's all these things out there, and I feel like if you're in that position, you need to adhere to it now. You need to be aware of the situation. And at the same time, again, yes, the onus is on the platform. Twitch, as a result, has to find a way to better protect their audience and protect their creators from doing these things and preventing them from doing it in the future. Again, a lot to unfold here. I would love to hear your guys' opinions, your thoughts. What does Twitch need to do? What do platforms like it need to do? What hasn't been done? What are other areas that can be explored? And how does the law and the system around it need to change in relative to the times we're in? Leave it down in the comments below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. I know it's a long one. Subscribe if you're not subscribed for more tech content. And as always, thanks a lot for watching.